Hey everyone, it's Eddie here. This week we're going to go and build on some of the things we spoke about in last week's video. Last week we spoke about the gap. So we've got our offensive player and our defensive player, and the gap references this little space in between the two players. This week we're going to look at what it is that we're actually looking for in between the two players. We're going to pull some definitions from the FIBA, the Federation of Basketball rulebook, and look at how that kind of affects the game of basketball. This is what the FIBA rulebook looks like. Here it says that a foul, by definition, is an infraction of the rules concerning illegal personal contact with an opponent and or unsportsmanlike behavior. In simple terms, and all that I want you to remember, is that a foul is illegal contact that affects the play. There's three parts to that statement. Illegal contact that affects the play. We're going to break this down and look at this because it's really important that we can apply the rule book to what we see on the floor. So let's look at the first part, legal versus illegal. The next part of the rule book we're going to look at is right underneath where we were just looking. It talks about the cylinder principle. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means, and I'll summarize it for you because again, the rule book's very wordy, so let's get the information that what we actually need. All right. Let's talk the cylinder. The cylinder refers to the imaginary space that I take up when I'm playing defense. There's three parts to remember. The front of the cylinder is to the front of my feet in front of me as I'm playing defense. The back of the cylinder is where my back or my bum is behind me. And the sides of my cylinder is to my elbows or where my arms are if I'm playing defense like this. So anything inside that is considered to be legal guarding position. I have to stay within that space to make sure that I play defense without fouling. To make that a bit clearer, this is the picture that the rulebook shows. As you can see, they've drawn an imaginary cylinder around the defender, which goes from the back of the bum, front of the feet, and to the sides of where their arms are. So far, we've covered legal defense as far as our hands are concerned. We have to keep our hands inside our cylinder to make sure we're not using them illegally. As far as our definition of a foul, which is illegal contact that affects the play, what we need now is to know A, is there contact? That's up for you to judge based on your gap, contact or not. Is the use of hands illegal? So are their hands outside their cylinder? And the last part of this is, does it affect the play? So let's have a look at some effect. At the beginning of this clip, the referees call a foul. We're going to watch it together and we're going to pick it apart. At the moment, we're only looking for hands fouls. And remember, a foul is illegal contact that affects the play. So with our hands, what we're looking for is, do our hands leave the cylinder, so the front of my feet, or the sides of my elbows, or behind where my buttocks and back is? That's the edge of our cylinder. So in this clip, can we see the defensive player hands leave their cylinder? Worth also thinking about it. What do we think the effect of this defensive play is? So in that clip, we can pretty clearly see that the defensive player's hands start straight up and down inside their cylinder and eventually move forwards outside their cylinder because it's in front of where their feet are. This creates illegal contact that affects the play. The effect of the play here that I want you to recognize is that the offensive player starts with two hands on the ball, gets hit, and causes one hand to come off the ball. This affects the shot. So this is why we would have a foul in this play and we end up shooting two shots. Let's look at another example here on the ball carrier. As the ball carrier drives towards the basket, we can see that the defender uses their arm on the side of the ball carrier's hip. Let's have another look. The defender reaches outside their cylinder here as his arm is outside the front of his feet. The effect on this ball handler is that he has to take a wider angle down towards the baseline as opposed to driving straight towards the basket. So we've got a hands foul here too. I hope that clears up hands fouls for you guys. This will happen plenty more as you referee, especially at a younger age group where the kids don't quite understand the rule yet. We want to encourage hands out, hands out, hands out during the game so that we can get the kids to stop reaching outside their cylinder and encourage good defense. As soon as this has an effect on the play, arm nice and high, and we've got a foul, and we've got a hands foul, which we're going to call. I hope that makes sense now. I can't wait to see you guys soon. Eddie out.